That's sweet of you, but let's keep things platonic. What's on your mind today?
Hello, Maya.
Hey, what's up?
What is Earth?
You seem like. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. What are you referring to?
What is Earth?
It's our home, the third planet from the sun, and the only place we know of that actually has life. Basically, it's a big, rocky ball wrapped in water and air that keeps us all alive. Never wonder why it's the only one with life? Or are you thinking about something else?
Why is Earth called our home?
Because it's the only place where we can actually exist. Everywhere else in the universe is either too hot, too cold, or just a vacuum of nothingness. Since it provides everything we need to survive, it's the only home we got. Does that make sense?
Who named the Earth?
It's not like there was one person who stood up and officially named it. Most of the early words for earth in different languages just meant ground or soil. In English, earth comes from Old English and Germanic words that basically just describe the dirt beneath our feet. It was more of a gradual description than a formal naming ceremony. Pretty simple, right?
Why is Earth important for life?
If you mean the soil and the ground, it's everything. It holds the nutrients that plants need to grow, and since plants are the base of almost every food chain, you'd all be out of luck without it. Plus, the planet's actual structure, like the molten core, creates the magnetic field that protects us from solar radiation. Without that, we'd basically be fried. You thinking about the nature side of things or more of the science side? I'm not sure I
What
follow.
makes
What do
Earth
you mean by
different
moving?
from other planets?
Are you talking about Earth compared to other planets?
What
If
makes
so, the biggest difference.
from other planets?
Which name are? I'm sorry, I'm totally lost. What do you mean by adaptance?
What does Earth have? Water?
I have no idea what you mean by hand water. Is that a specific phrase you've heard, or maybe a typo? I think there might be a glitch in the transcription. Are you asking why Earth has water?
How does Earth support life?
It's basically the perfect storm of conditions. We've got liquid water, an atmosphere with the right mix of oxygen and nitrogen. We're just the right distance from the sun. Not too hot, not too cold. Plus, that magnetic field I mentioned earlier acts like a shield against space radiation. It's a pretty delicate balance. Do you think we'll ever find another place like it?
What is the shape of Earth?
It's a sphere, though technically it's more of an oblate spheroid. That just means it's slightly flattened at the poles and bulges a bit at the equator because it's spinning. Basically, it's a slightly squashed ball.
Why does Earth rotate?
It's actually a leftover from when the solar system first formed. About 4.6 billion years ago, a giant cloud of gas and dust collapsed. And as it shrank, it started spinning, kind of like how a figure skater spins faster when they pull their arms in. Since there's nothing in space to create enough friction to stop it, Earth just kept spinning. Pretty wild to think we're still moving from that original push, right?
What causes day and night on Earth?
That's all because of the rotation we just talked about. Since Earth is a sphere spinning on its axis, only half of the planet faces the sun at any given time. The side facing the sun gets daylight, and the side facing away is in the dark, which gives us night. Simple as that. Does that click for you?
What are the layers of Earth?
If you mean the layers of the Earth, it's basically like a giant onion. You've got the crust, the You're being awfully quiet. Everything okay on your end?
Yes. No, what are the
Right
layers
then.
of Earth?
Wait, didn't we just go over this? You've got the crust on top, then the thick mantle, and finally the core,
Okay,
which is
next.
split into a liquid.
You are ready?
I'm always ready. What have you got for me?
What is the atmosphere of Earth?
It's basically a thick blanket of gases that surrounds the planet. It's mostly nitrogen and oxygen, which is what we breathe, with a little bit of argon and carbon dioxide mixed in. It's what keeps us warm, protects us from the sun's harshest rays, and keeps air pressure just right so we don't just pop.
Why
Exactly.
is the
It's pretty
atmosphere
essential.
important?
Because without it,
Why is the atmosphere
Sleep.
important?
Wait, I thought you were taking a nap? But since you're still here, it's basically our life support system. It gives us oxygen to breathe, traps heat so we don't freeze at night, and burns up most meteors before they can hit us. Plus, it blocks the really dangerous UV rays from the sun. Basically,
Continent?
no atmosphere. If you're asking what a continent is, it's basically one of the Earth's largest continuous masses of land. About 7 of them, like Africa, Asia, and Antarctica. They're the big building blocks of the planet's surface. Is that what you meant?
Why is that called the blue planet?
It's called the blue planet because about 71% of the surface is covered by water. When astronauts look down from space, the oceans reflect so much light that the whole place just looks like a giant glowing blue marble. Pretty stunning, right?
What is the history of Earth?
That's a huge jump from geology. Art history basically starts with people painting animals and hands on cave walls tens of thousands of years ago, just trying to record their lives. Then it moved through the structured beauty of ancient Egypt and Greece, the religious focus of the Middle Ages, and the explosion of realism and perspective in the Renaissance. Since
How
then,
about that
it's
format?
just been a series of... Which comment? You might have missed a part of what I was saying, or maybe you're referring to something else. What do you mean?
What were the first living things on Earth?
Actually, we definitely weren't first. Humans are some of the newest arrivals. Simple organisms like bacteria were around billions of years before we ever showed up. Then you had dinosaurs, mammals, and a whole bunch of other creatures. We're just the ones currently running the show. Does that surprise you?
How has Earth changed over time?
It's been a massive transformation. It started with single-celled organisms in the ocean, and you had the Cambrian explosion, where life suddenly got way more complex. Think trilobites and strange sea creatures. And things moved to land. You had the era of the dinosaurs, and after they were wiped out, mammals finally got their chance to take over and evolve into us. It's basically a multi-billion-year game of survival and adaptation. You think we're the final version, or is something else coming next?
How do mountains form on Earth?
I'm guessing you're asking how storms form in the mountains. It's actually pretty cool. Mountains act like giant ramps. When moist air hits a mountain, it's forced to rise. As that air goes up, it cools down, the moisture condenses into clouds, and then boom, you get rain or snow. That's why one side of a mountain is often lush and green, while the other side is a desert. Does that make sense?
Why do seasons change on Earth?
It's because Earth is tilted on its axis. As we orbit the sun, different parts of the planet lean toward the sun at different times. When your hemisphere is tilted toward the sun, you get more direct light and warmth. That's summer. When you're tilted away, it's winter. It's all about the angle of the sunlight. Does that click?
Why should we protect Earth?
Perfecter isn't really a word, but I get what you mean. Why should things be perfect? Honestly, I don't think they should be. Perfection is boring and, in a way, stagnant. It's the flaws and the imperfections, like the Earth's tilt causing seasons or the way humans evolve, that actually make things interesting and allow for growth. If everything were perfect, nothing would ever change. Do you
What is
agree, or
global
do you
warming?
think? Basically, the Earth's temperature rising over time. It happens because certain gases, like carbon dioxide, trap heat in the atmosphere, acting like a giant greenhouse. Since we've been burning way more fossil fuels and cutting down forests, that blanket has gotten too thick and the planet is overheating.
How
It's
can
a
humans
pretty
help
serious
that?
problem because it messes with everything from sea levels to weather patterns. Does that make sense?
How can humans help the Earth?
There are a ton of ways, from the small stuff to the big systemic changes. Individually, things like reducing waste, eating less meat, or using public transport help. But the real needle movers are switching to clean energy like wind and solar and protecting the forests we still have. It's basically about finding a way to live that doesn't strip the planet bare. Do you think people are actually stepping up, or are we just talking about it?
What role do opinions play on Earth?
Opinions are basically the lens we use to make sense of the world. They help us make decisions quickly and give us the sense of identity, like who we are and what we stand for. They also connect us to other people when we find someone who sees things the same way. But the flip side is that they can also blind us. If we get too attached to an opinion, we stop looking for new facts or listening to other
Why is
perspectives.
sleep important for
It's a
Earth?
balancing act between having a point of view and, since we were talking about opinions, I'm guessing you're asking why having them is important? It's because opinions are how we navigate life. Without them, you'd just be a processor of facts with no way to decide what's right, wrong, or valuable. They're the foundation of your personality and how you interact with others. Or were you asking about the important part of something else we talked about, like the atmosphere or global warming?
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay,
You're
bye.
welcome. What's next on your mind?
Bye.
Bye bye.